With so many exorcism movies today, each movie almost has to put its unique spin or twist to keep the audience engaged. The Exorcism of Emily Rose deals with the legality of the ritual as a priest is put on trial for a young girl's death. The Last Exorcism showcases a Reverend who delegitimizes exorcisms for a living, finally coming face to face with something he can't explain. The Vatican Tapes shows an exorcism in which the exorcists lose the battle with a demon and the antichrist rises. The 2021 film The Seventh Day puts its own twist on the horror exorcism film genre. The film begins with a young Father Peter Costello and his mentor Father Louise doing an exorcism in Baltimore in 1985. A young boy is possessed, and Father Louise leads the exorcism ritual while the boy's two parents nervously watch. During the exorcism, the possessed boy pulls the crucifix off his mother's neck and it hurls right at Father Louise. It hits him right in the jugular, killing him, and a young Father Costello is left to fend the powerful demon all by himself. However, we don't actually get to see what happens next here. As the movie progresses, we learn that the boy dies, and it eats away at Father Costello until present day. The next scene shows present day with Father Peter Costello meeting with Father Daniel Garcia and the Archbishop. Father Garcia has just finished exorcism school, and today he is sent to tag along with veteran exorcist Father Costello. Father Costello has trained a number of new exorcists and is less than thrilled with the idea of taking on another recruit. The relationship between the two seems to feel like Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke in Training Day, though. Father Garcia was a top student at exorcist school, but Father Costello preaches to him the importance of experience, and it stresses books can't prepare you for the real thing. We see this type of message many times in many professions. This is just not something that happens in movies, but also real life. To stress the importance of experience, Father Costello takes Father Garcia to a homeless camp under the bridge. Father Costello tells him he needs to be able to identify evil if he wants to root it out. Father Garcia begins searching the tents. Soon they are greeted by a volunteer who is helping giving free soup to the homeless. Father Garcia finally stumbles upon a man talking to himself. He believes the man is possessed and starts praying at him. However, the man gets angry and it's clear that he's normal. Father Costello tells Father Garcia that evil is where you least expect it. Father Costello then says something to the woman who was giving out the soup earlier. Suddenly, the kind-looking woman transforms into a demon. Father Costello then begins doing an exorcism on the demon and exorcises it out. Once again, the scene here feels more like a scene from Training Day than an exorcism movie. Father Costello is really pushing Father Garcia in uncomfortable ways to see how tough he is and to see if he can handle the job. This becomes more evident as today is essentially his tryout for the exorcist position. Next, the two go to a suburban home. As they drive up, Father Costello asks Father Garcia if he knows where he is. Father Garcia says he knows the home, and it's a home where a young boy has killed his parents. Father Costello asks Father Garcia to go in the home by himself to see if he can sense the evil. Father Garcia heads in the home and soon begins having visions of what happened. He comes back outside and tells Father Costello that he sensed the evil and that they need to visit the boy. The two go to the detention center, and Father Costello tells Father Garcia to go in and speak with the boy by himself. The boy, whose name is Charlie, begins speaking to Father Garcia and tells him that he would have killed his family. Charlie tells Father Garcia that a man has been coming into his room. This mysterious man crawls on top of him, and kneels on his chest. Right here we have a situation which many have reported as well. This sounds eerily similar to the old hag phenomenon, which has been reported for millennia, and where the word nightmare comes from. The old hag phenomenon is when people sleeping report something crawls up onto their body and sits on one's chest. The entity immobilizes the person, making them unable to move or wake up. Still, it's important to note that most healthcare professionals are just going to dismiss this as night terrors or sleep paralysis, and definitely not demonic possession. Soon, Charlie transforms into something evil and attacks Father Garcia. There's no doubt now that the boy was demonically possessed. Still, the priests have to find a way to prove it. Father Garcia tells Father Costello that the boy told him the evil seemed to come in at the skating ring. The two priests drive over and soon converse with some of Charlie's friends. They take the priest into a back room in the skating ring and show them a Ouija board. Charlie had used the Ouija board and somehow let the evil in. Father Costello then asks Father Garcia to use it and sense the evil. Father Garcia begins using it and sees himself transforming into evil. As he wakes up from his vision, the group tells him that he spelled out evil on the Ouija board. The two priests head back and begin watching Charlie's interview with a counselor. Father Garcia is now fully engaged and ready to tackle the challenge. Father Costello tells Father Garcia that he needs to go in and have the demon expose itself. Otherwise, the healthcare professionals will never believe that Charlie was possessed. Father Garcia heads in the interview and begins drawing out the demon. Charlie soon transforms and attacks the counselor, terrifying him. Charlie levitates in the air, and a stunned group of healthcare professionals watch in the observation room. Soon, Father Garcia exits the room and begins talking with the others. They look inside and see Charlie somehow has disappeared. 3 security officers run in, and suddenly the lights go out. A possessed Charlie begins slaughtering them and soon disappears into the building. Father Garcia eventually catches up with him. He's able to transform Charlie back into his normal self. Then, we get a key scene in the movie. The two are hugging when Charlie tells Father Garcia the man who has been coming into his room is right behind him. Father Garcia turns around and is stunned to see Father Costello in the doorway. The next scene shows the two priests going to the Archbishop to get permission for the exorcism. Father Garcia is looking at Father Costello in disbelief, but doesn't seem to be convinced all the way yet that Father Costello is a demon. The two head in and talk to the Archbishop. The Archbishop tells them that he's not going to sanction an exorcism. Father Costello asks Father Garcia to step outside so he can talk with the Archbishop. During this time, we see Father Garcia sitting on a bench. A creepy receptionist comes up and begins talking with Father Garcia. She gives him the telephone number to call. It's the number of a priest who went through the same thing he was going through. Father Garcia doesn't think much of it, but soon we see he's being pulled to evil and dark forces are at play. Father Costello then comes out from speaking with the Archbishop. They've been approved for the exorcism. This is an interesting point in the movie because it's not clear how Father Costello convinced the Archbishop to allow the exorcism. We can speculate at this point that being a demon, Father Costello was able to know the Archbishop's secrets and blackmailed him. Still, it's not 100% evident at this point. They get the boy, and Father Garcia begins prepping the room for the exorcism. He makes a phone call to the priest that the receptionist gave him. The priest tells him that it's almost time in a creepy way, and a bewildered Father Garcia hangs up the phone. His training day is making Ethan Hawke's look like a walk in the park. Father Garcia will be performing the exorcism by himself with Father Costello supervising. Father Garcia begins the exorcism, and after a short time, He has a premonition. Father Costello is a demon, and he is possessing the boy. He remembers what Father Costello has been telling him all day, that evil is where you least expect it. We now know that evil lurks inside Father Costello. He's attempting to turn Father Garcia to a demon and join his legion of demon priests. Father Garcia begins performing the exorcism ritual on Father Costello. They then fight, and soon Father Garcia stabs Father Costello in the neck with the crucifix Father Luis gave him. As Father Costello is dying, we see him return momentarily and thank Father Garcia for ridding the evil from his body. With Father Costello dead, it appears at this point that something is trying to possess Father Garcia. Father Garcia, though, is able to resist it. Soon we see Father Garcia talking with the Archbishop. It appears Father Costello had been possessed since 1985. Since then, he has trained and created an army of demonic priests. Father Garcia was the first to escape Father Costello. Father Garcia then accepts a file of the priests and heads off in the closing scene of the movie. Overall, the movie is pretty disappointing for several reasons. First, it has lackluster performances from both Exorcist actors Guy Pearce and Vadhir Durbitz. Guy Pearce just feels out of place in this film and was a bad selection for the part. Even worse, he looks disinterested in playing the part. Durbitz seems to be the focus of the film, but his performance certainly wasn't memorable. In fact, I don't think he's a good fit for the horror genre in general. The second reason the movie's disappointing is the story isn't very intriguing or invoke feelings of dread or terror. Now, it might just be me, but the boy who was possessed doesn't seem scary. Brady Jensis is a pretty solid actor, but I think this role was a bit much for him. The demonic voice seems too robotic and bizarre as well. Now, the movie doesn't seem concerned with this, and it tries to keep most of the focus on Father Garcia and his training day. The twist at the end around Father Costello being a demon should have been handled differently too. There's plenty of moments in the movie that foreshadow this as well. One is Father Costello stating evil is where you least expect it. The scene where Charlie points out Father Costello is evil is really another dead giveaway for this too. This scene should have been deleted, and it would have given more of a bang to when Father Garcia begins exorcising Father Costello. Overall, the movie, though, is entertaining enough to watch, but it's one that doesn't really keep you engaged. I'd skip this one altogether if you haven't seen it.